scrutiny because as the advisor to Hillary Clinton, she was the conduit to the Clinton Foundation, also split her time between the State Department and the Clinton Foundation. This is an email that you have. Cheryl Mills writes to Huma Abedin and says, "This is unbelievable. She should not be, she, meaning Hillary Clinton, should not be giving her email to everyone." Abedin responds, "Justin, who's a tech guy, can fix it, but I need her Berry, meaning her BlackBerry, and she takes that thing to every billet, to every shower. So hard to get my hands on that." She's complaining that she can't get her hands on that BlackBerry because Hillary Clinton's got it in the shower.
It's hilarious. I mean, it's both a picture of internet addiction, but it's also something more. So Cheryl Mills and Huma Abedin have been around government their whole adult lives, and they know just how very anxious everybody is in the executive branch about digital security. Really anxious, especially in the White House and the State Department, because they're under such a massive threat from hackers. And so when they go to the SCIF, that is Hillary Clinton's secure office, they try to encourage her to use email on her secure desktop, but she doesn't know how to do it. Here's the significance, in my view. Nobody in Hillary's orbit has the SWAT or the courage to say to her, look, you can't do this. This is jeopardizing American national security. Though it's clear that they know it. It's very clear from this exchange. They know just how reckless and crazy this behavior is, but they can't summon the courage to tell their boss to do the right thing. This is a picture of dysfunction. This is an executive surrounded by people who nod and affirm every bad decision she makes. It's not good decision-making at all.
Yeah, Tucker, we know that they know it's not a good idea to take these BlackBerries into Russia. You saw the emails that were released to Fox News. So they released some to you, they released some to us, I mean, you being Daily Caller. But the ones that they released to us show that they left their BlackBerries on the plane when they landed in Moscow, because if they took them into Russia, then they could be hacked if they started using them there on the ground.
That's right.
What do you make of that?
It's hard to overstate. I mean, I've lived in D.C. my whole adult life, and this is a very familiar thing here. You can't overstate the paranoia and the seriousness with which government officials in the executive branch take digital security. They really feel like, at all levels, that they are constantly under attack. So for the Secretary of State to do something like this, everyone in her orbit is looking on appalled. I can't believe she's doing this. And yet again, nobody stops her. This just tells you exactly what it's like in Hillary world. It's a small, airless room where nobody tells the truth. It's not a good thing.
Tucker, what would the White House be like? This is the brain trust that could be running our country. This is the judgment that could be deciding our fate. Which brings us to an election day, not as big, but certainly impactful. John McCain's got a primary, Marco Rubio's got a primary, Debbie Wasserman Schultz has a primary.
Right.
What do you think about these outsiders giving them a run for their money?
Well, you know, all three of these candidates, these office holders, have been challenged by insurgencies, and it looks like, and, you know, never predicted in this season, but it looks like all three of them have a pretty good shot of winning. This doesn't surprise anyone who watches it carefully. This presidential race, where Donald Trump basically blew past 16 incumbents to get the job, is an anomaly. It doesn't often happen. You're looking at a government run by long-time incumbents. There are as many United States senators in their 70s and 80s, some of the mid-80s, as there are in their 50s. We tend to re-elect people again and again. Once you get elected, it's very difficult to lose. You know, it's probably not the best way to run a government, to be totally blunt, but that's
Tucker,
what we have.
If Hillary Clinton is so dishonest, if you say that they know things are going on that shouldn't be going on and they're just covering it up, shouldn't it be pretty easy for whoever runs against her to win? And what does Donald Trump need to do?
Well, sure. I mean, look, the key number, if you're running a campaign, you don't look at these theoretical matchups nationally. You look at the right track, wrong track number. Are people happy with the direction of the country? And by an overwhelming margin, they are very unhappy, so that, by definition, favors the insurgent, and that, of course, is Donald Trump. There are a couple problems. One is immigration. There's been a massive demographic shift in this country over the past 15 and especially the last 10 years in states that are the swing states. So in places that you think of a certain way, that would include Ohio, North Carolina, Virginia, Iowa, Colorado, Arizona. These have different populations than they had when you were in high school. They're just not the same places. So, for example, this morning in Arizona, a state that Mitt Romney won 55-44 over the current president, you're seeing Hillary Clinton up a point. Now, I think it's likely Trump's going to win that in the end, but the fact that it's even close tells you it's not about Trump, it's not about Hillary, it's about the people who live there. Immigration has changed the population of that state, and you're seeing that repeated on a national scale.
Tucker, we see so much anti-establishment perspective, frustration with Washington, toss the bums out. That's such a premise of this election.
Yes.
Yet we see in primaries across the country, as you mentioned, John McCain, Marco Rubio, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, they're all up in the polls and likely to win. Why do you see at that local level a lot of those candidates that maybe some have been frustrated with or some like, why are they winning their primaries or likely to win them in such an anti-establishment insurgent type year?
It's a great question. I mean, John McCain, for example, who turned 80 yesterday, obviously an honorable man, probably out of step with a lot of voters in Arizona on the question of immigration, which is a key question there, still probably going to win. Debbie Wasserman Schultz, nobody wants to vote for Debbie Wasserman Schultz. She's probably going to win herself against Tim Kaine. This is another just the starkest possible example of the advantages of incumbency. Once you're in, the fundraising mechanisms are yours, the media channels are yours. It's very hard to knock off an incumbent. This may be a powerful case for term limits. I mean,